Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm EVM and this is something that I want to show you that I do all the time to myself. It is of course saving money. What else could it be? I think it's built into our DNA as Yorkshiremen to do this, and I think we get pretty good at it because of that. Now, I think this is also the 4th year that I've done this video, which is effectively showing you which is the cheapest electricity tariff for an electric vehicle driver who charges at home. Now, let's face it, this, your house, is your fuel station. It's your petrol station equivalent if you own an EV and you charge at home. I've seen people drive clear across town to a petrol station that's 1 pence per litre cheaper. We've all done it. Why would you do that but not change your electricity tariff to the best one for your house, or in this case, your house and your car? I mean, the difference between the most expensive one on the list I'm about to show you and the cheapest is around £800. 800 quid, all for changing your electricity tariff. It's the same product. Obviously there are green and non-green tariffs, but you get my point. It's electricity at the end of the day. If you went to a shop and said, I would like a TV please, and they went, certainly sir, here it is, it's £600. And you thought, oh, that's pretty good. And then you went next door and said, we've got the exact same TV sir, would you like it for £1,000? You wouldn't go back there, would you? So why wouldn't people do this sort of thing, put this sort of effort into finding the best EV tariff? Well, now you don't have to, because I've pretty much done it for you. I've used my usage pattern, figured out which is the cheapest out of all the EV specific or EV targeted tariffs out there. So all you have to do is sign up effectively, because I imagine my usage pattern as an EV owner that can charge at home is pretty much very similar to other people's. I do more miles than most, granted, but I still think the direction that it will point into will be the same for the majority of people out there. But of course, you're going to have to do your own figures to be sure. This is just an indication of who's the cheapest. Now, of course, to show you this, I need to use that, the whiteboard of awesomeness. Right, I think the first place to start is with showing my workings out. So if you want to play along and figure out how much you're using on your current tariff, just follow along really. This is my average monthly electricity usage, 787 kilowatt hours. That's a lot, it's a lot more than average. But of course I own an EV, I do a lot of miles in it, and that is responsible for more electricity usage than the house. So, using the data over the previous years, what I've done is broken it up into 2 different figures. One at the cheapest rate, which is typically night time for me, and one for the rest of the day effectively, or peak rate. So I use, again on average, over the year, 400 kilowatt hours during the night time. That's again, majority of which is the car itself, and 387 during peak times. So let's imagine you pay 15 pence per kilowatt hour during peak, and I don't know, 7 during the cheap times. All you do is 15p times that, 7p times that, add your standing charge, which for me, I've just picked 30 days. So if it was 25p per day standing charge, then that would cost you £7.50 a month. Add that together, the standing charge, and then we get our monthly figures. Times that by 12, you get the yearly figures. So it's literally as simple as that. Most of the data that's quite hard to get hold of for yourself is trying to figure out what your average monthly usage is, or if you're getting an EV, what it will be. Some tariffs, of course, will be just one flat rate. And if that's the case, then you just do 787 times whatever your flat rate is, let's say 14p, add the standing charge, and that's your monthly average. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. The hard bit was just tracking down all the EV tariffs, because some of them, Scottish Power, for example, they did an EV tariff, and I couldn't, for the life of me, find any details on it on their website. Just lots of people complaining that they tried to switch to it and it doesn't seem to exist, even as an existing customer. There's a lot of power companies out there that do this, I've found. They advertise something, you can't find anything, or you can't change to it, or it's not ready yet. Right, so let me wipe this off now and then create the table to show you which is the cheapest and which is the most expensive. It's an exciting, penetrating video, isn't it? Right, here we are. Here's the table. It was exciting doing this, believe me. 1800 at the bottom, 971 at the top. It's obscene, the difference, for effectively the same product. But again, clear evidence as to why it's worth paying attention to what you're paying on your electricity and gas as well. The people that just think, oh no, I've been with British Gas for years, I'm on the standard tariff. I'm sorry, there's something mentally wrong with you. My brain can't comprehend people that will just literally throw money away. It drives me insane. Right, who do you think out of the companies I'm about to mention is at the bottom? Who do you think is at the top? I have Ecotricity, EDF, E.ON, Good Energy, Octopus, OVO and Shell. I'll give you all the details about the tariffs right at the end of the video. I've effectively taken a screenshot of each one, of each website that I've visited. And of course, there are many, many tariffs that I haven't considered here. These are the ones, again, that are aimed at EV drivers, but there are others out there. Economy 7 ones, probably other dual rate ones. We have E.ON, and that's called E.ON Charge, presumably because it's aimed at EV drivers. Oops, that's a funny R. £1,800 for 787 kilowatt hours worth of energy. Next, with 16.38 pence flat rate, we have everybody's favourite, Ecotricity. Now, this is where it does slightly complicate things a bit. Yes, 1683 is an awful lot. They're, I would say, one of the green, possibly the most greenest energy providers when it comes to electricity production, possibly gas as well. But there are a few of these that come with other benefits. Ecotricity, for example, gives you half price charging if you charge at one of their chargers. So if by some miracle you find one that's working, you can charge at half the price than everyone else can. So you're saving 15 pence per kilowatt hour every time you use it. For me, that's going to be working out at 20, 30, 40, 50 quid tops a year. So it doesn't really change the outcome at all. But it is worth mentioning some of these do come with other benefits, like a Polar subscription or something like that. Right, above Ecotricity we have, an oil giant. We have Shell. Boo. They're obviously not trying to greenwash anything at all. Theirs is called Energy Charge and Drive. So I'll put C and, that's an and symbol, C and D. 1,600 quid with them. Next in the list we have Good Energy. That is a Good Energy in name, but not so much in price, because even though they're in mid-table, £1,587 is still an awful lot compared to the cheapest. Above them we have the OVO, and that's EV Everywhere tariff. £1,580, 76 pence. Now the EV Everywhere one does have an off-peak tariff. This is another benefit I feel I need to mention. 18.85 pence peak for them and 12.29 pence off-peak, which is why it's so expensive. However, the off-peak tariff lasts for 7 hours, whereas some of them are like 4 or 5 hours. We're in the top 3 now. And on an Economy 7 tariff, we have an EV owner's favourite, Bulb. That's Economy 7. That's not bad, 1,361. Still nearly £400 dearer, but we're getting closer. And that's in 3rd place, so yeah, not too bad by Bulb there. 2nd place now, it is EDF. That's called the Go Electric 35. This is, of course, a split rate tariff, which is why it's a lot cheaper. £1,079. That's a pretty good showing, actually, from one of the big energy companies. So EDF are actually doing pretty well. 15.96 pence peak and just 4.5 pence during off-peak, and you get 5 hours on that one. So that's a pretty competitive one. Well, I don't think it's a major surprise who's at the top, really, is it? It is, of course, for the 3rd year on the trot. Genuinely, go and watch the other videos if you don't believe me. It's Octopus Energy. I'll just put Octopus here. Now, this particular tariff is called the Go Faster. So I'll put Go F. The reason I've picked the Go Faster tariff rather than the Octopus Go tariff is that that is slightly more expensive than the Go. It's 5.5p at night instead of just 5p. 13.33 peak rate, but effectively you get 5 hours with Octopus Go Faster as opposed to the 4 hours that you get with the Octopus Go. Now, there's a few other things I want to mention. The first one is that if you decide that this was a useful video to you and you are going to switch to Octopus, I have a referral code in the description below. Yes, I'm a referral whore, I admit it. Effectively, that means that you get £50 credited to your account, and so do I. So if you do want to switch to Octopus, use the link in the description below. You have to use that link. I'll put it as a pinned comment as well, and then you sign up as normal. But what you have to do, because this is linked to a smart meter, you'll have to move to Octopus as a customer on one of their standard tariffs, and then once you are a customer, tell them that you want a smart meter. Once you get the smart meter, you can go on Octopus Go or Go Faster or even Octopus Agile. I'll mention that in a second. If you already have a SMETS 2 or a SMETS 1 secure branded meter, so if you've got a secure SMETS 1 meter, you can automatically go on the Go Faster tariff once you're an Octopus customer. That is fine. You don't need to get another one installed. There's no point in asking me in the comments which is cheaper, Agile or Octopus Go. If you had to put a gun to my head, I would say Agile is cheaper during the sunnier months. Go is cheaper probably during the winter months. If you're wondering how much Octopus Go would be as opposed to Octopus Go Faster, it's £947. So effectively, I think it's worth the 24 quid a year extra to get that 5-hour rate at cheap rate as opposed to the 4-hour one. But it's up to you. I mean, this is something else again which I think is worth mentioning. Some people go, well, you can't charge a car up in 4 or even 5 hours. It takes 8 or 10 or 12. You're kind of missing the point. You don't do that, or rarely do that. You only need to put back in, if you charge at home, what you use that day. If you've got 4 hours just to charge your car, on a standard home charger, up to 7 kilowatts, allowing for a few losses, you're looking at roughly 80 to 100 miles in that 4-hour period. So obviously if you drive 200 miles in a day, you're going to need more than 4 hours, but I don't think many people will do that. Before we go, again, I'll just show you very briefly how I figured out the Octopus Go one. 13.3 pence at peak, 5.5 pence at cheap, and 25p per day standing charge. So that effectively means that we've got £7.50 on the standing charge, because I'm using a 30-day month, for the peak usage, which is effectively 13.3 times 387, I think it was. That comes to £51.47. 5.5p times 400, that comes to, and nice and easy to figure out, £22. Add all that together now, and that gives us a grand total of £80.97 per month. Now all we do, we've got a monthly figure, we times it by 12 again, which gives us £971. In fact, it's up there, isn't it? 64p. So that's everything you need to know, really. That's how I've done it. That's how I've done all them. Again, lots of tariffs out there that I haven't looked at. So I'll be interested if you find one that's cheaper than this. I doubt it. Remember, the Octopus Go one is £947. I'll see you next year to see who's going to be the cheapest on that one. So thanks you for watching. Bye.